If you want to know how the 1% actually build wealth, here is the uncomfortable truth. It's not hustle, it's not luck, and it's definitely not a 9 to 5 salary. The real strategy, you were never meant to know it. But I'm going to show it to you today. And by the time we are done, you will never see money or your future the same way again. For those new here, I'm Muzaffar Teja, qualified accountant, investment banker, and your guide to cutting through the noise of finance. On this channel, we don't just talk about money, we talk about owning your life with practical personal finance strategies, mindset shift that actually build wealth, and proven systems used by the people who actually make it. If that's your vibe, hit subscribe and ring the bell, because what I'm about to share could literally change the way you think about your entire financial future. Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you looked at someone incredibly successful and thought, what exactly are they doing differently? What do they know that I don't? Because let's be real, we have all seen it. People who seem to leapfrog the system, they are not necessarily smarter, they don't always work harder, but somehow they keep building wealth quietly, consistently, without showing off. That's the 1%. And while most of the world is chasing income, clout, or flashy lifestyles, the real wealthy, the authentic millionaires and billionaires are playing a completely different game. Here is the twist. The game, you were never taught the rules. In schools, we were taught how to earn a salary, not how to build assets. We were taught how to work for money, not how to make money work for us. We are taught how to survive financially, not how to become financially sovereign. And if you don't step out of that default system, you stay stuck in the exact place the system was designed to keep, working for the 1% instead of building like them. Now, I'm not here to sell you some get-rich-quick scheme. The video is about truth, and the truth is the real wealth building strategy of 1% is built around just 3 pillars. Number 1, leverage of time, money, people, and platforms. Number 2, ownership of scalable, cash-flowing, appreciating assets. Number 3, asymmetry, where small risks create outsized return and effort compounds exponentially. But before I break those down, and I will in full detail, we need to go deeper. Because if I just tell you what the 1% do, but not how they think, you will never apply it. And I want you to walk away from this video not just knowing the playbook, but able to use it. Let me start with a truth that stings. Most people believe the way to get rich is to earn more money, but that's how you stay broke, just at a higher level. Because in the real world, income doesn't equal wealth. Earning £80,000, £100,000, or even £200,000 per year means nothing if your expenses rise with it. That's why so many high-income professionals are still trapped in the same rat race as someone on minimum wage. They just drive nicer cars to jobs they secretly resent. It's the earn-spend cycle. And here is the worst part. It feels productive. You get promoted, you make more money, you move into a bigger house, you feel like you are progressing, but you are still on the treadmill, just faster, more expensive, and more fragile. Let me give you a real-world example. A friend of mine, call him Sam, was working in an investment bank. He was on £150,000 a year at 29. Everyone thought he was set for life, but here is what they didn't see. His rent, £3,500 per month in London. His car, £800 per month lease on a BMW M4. His lifestyle, dinners out, travel, clothes, £4,000 a month. He was saving maybe £1,000 a month. One wrong move, job loss, market crash, family emergency, and everything would collapse. Because even though his income was 3 times the national average, his system was broken. He was earning like the rich, but living like the broke. Now let me show you what the 1% do differently. They don't try to climb faster on the salary ladder. They step onto a different ladder entirely, one built on ownership and asymmetry. Let me explain. Most people live on linear income. You trade hours for money, more hours, more pay. But the 1% build asymmetric income, where one decision, one asset, or one system produces disproportionate returns. They could make more from a single investment than most people earn in a year of full-time work. That's not fantasy, that's leverage, and we'll go deeper into that in part 3. But the point is, the rich don't escape the grind by working harder. They escape it by exiting the equation entirely. They build something once, then get paid over and over again. Think of it like this. There are 3 levels to this invisible financial ladder. Level 1, time for money. You work a job, you earn a paycheck. If you stop working, the money stops. Level 2, systems for money. You build or invest in something that works without your full-time effort. A business, real estate, royalties, index funds. Level 3, money for money. Your capital now works harder than you do. You deploy wealth like a chess master. You don't chase income, you direct it. The 1% 1% operates at level 3, most of the society is stuck at level 1, thinking promotions will save them. So pause right now and ask yourself, where are you on this ladder? Are you still stuck exchanging time for money? Have you started building something? Or are you finally letting your money do the work for you? It's not a test, it's a wake-up call. Because the good news is you can change the levels once you know the strategy. And that's what this entire video is about. Here is something most people miss. The 1% don't just climb a ladder, they build a lattice, a web of income streams. Let's take a real life example. Imagine someone owns a content brand, maybe a YouTube channel, just like this one. What do? Monetize with ads, sell digital products, build an email list, launch a course, license content, get sponsorships, invest revenue into stocks or real estate. Each of these is a node on the lattice. If one fails, the others keep producing. Compare that to a single income stream from one employer. You are one email away from financial disaster. The 1% think in systems and stacks, not just salaries. If there is one concept the 1% guard the most, it's this. Wealth doesn't come from hard work, it comes from multiplied work. Leverage is how a single decision today can pay you for decades. It's how 1 hour of effort can produce value for 1,000 hours. It's why Jeff Bezos earns money while he's asleep, and so does the small business owner who automated their online store. The middle class still plays the effort for pay game. The wealthy play the impact for pay game. They look for the ways to stretch the same hour of work across millions of customers, downloads, sales, or transactions. There are 5 types of leverage the 1% use. You might be using one without realizing it, but the real magic happens when you stack them. This is the oldest form of leverage. When you have capital, you can invest it in assets that produce income. Rental properties, dividend paying stocks, bonds or index funds, private businesses. The 1% aren't afraid to deploy their money because they understand risk management. They know 10,000 sitting in a saving account is losing value to inflation, but 10,000 pound in an index fund compounding at 8% per year doubles in under a decade. Warren Buffett turned $10,000 into over $100 billion using capital leverage and compounding, not by working 16 hours a day. The wealthy don't do everything themselves. They buy back their time. They hire people to run operations, manage projects, handle customer service, and execute ideas. Why it matters? If you earn $100 an hour, spending 10 hours on admin work is costing you £1,000 in lost value. The rich outsource those hours for 15 to 20 pound an hour, freeing themselves to work on high return activities. Richard Branson built Virgin by surrounding himself with talented operators. He focused on vision and strategy, others handled the details. This is where the game changed for modern millionaires. If you can create something once and sell it forever without extra cost, you have tapped into the most powerful form of leverage in history. Think apps and softwares, ebooks and online courses, YouTube videos, music, photo, templates. One video can get millions of views while you are asleep. One digital product can sell in every time zone without you lifting a finger. An author writes a book once and it generates royalties for decades. Code and content turn time-bound income into time-free income. The wealthy don't just create, they distribute efficiently. They partner with platforms, Amazon, YouTube, Shopify, or build their own audience so they can sell directly. Why it matters? If you launch a product to 100 people, you might make a few £100. If you launch to 1 million people, the same product could make you millions without any extra creation work. Kylie Jenner's cosmetic brand exploded because she leveraged her existing audience, turning attention into revenue instantly. This is the least talked about, but it's huge. Most people chase quick wins. The 1% make moves that may not pay off for 5 to 10 years because they know compounding is exponential, not linear. They buy assets in downturns, they invest in brands and relationships, they plant seeds knowing they will harvest later. Jeff Bezos built Amazon with no profit for years because scale and market dominance were worth infinitely more later. Here is the kicker. The real magic happens when you combine these forms of leverage. Imagine you use capital leverage to fund a project, hire a team, labor leverage to build it, create a product, code, content leverage that sells online, market it to an audience, platform leverage, and let it grow over time, time horizon leverage. That's the compounding wealth machine. That's the exact engine behind the 1% strategy. So here is my question to you. Which of these leverage types could you start using this month? Even on a small scale. You might not have capital yet, but you can create content. You might not have a huge audience yet, but you can learn to code or design a digital product. The point is, you don't have to be rich to start using rich people's tools. I know a graphic designer who started creating £5 templates on Etsy. At first, she made £50 a month. She reinvested that into ads, hired a virtual assistant that expanded her range. 2 years later, she's making £8,000 passively. She didn't start with money, she started with leverage. Let's talk about something most people confuse. Wealth is not what you own, wealth is what your assets pay you. You can own a £1 million house, but if it costs you money every month, it's not an asset, it's a luxury. And luxuries don't build wealth, they consume it. The 1% understand that cash flow is king. They measure wealth not by net worth on paper, but by freedom of cash flow. How much money arrives each month automatically without them working for it. Here is the big dividing line. Number 1, dead assets. These are things you own that don't put money in your pocket. Primary residence, unless rented out. Cars, jewelry, art that sits on a wall. They may go up in value, but they don't produce income while you wait. Number 2, living assets. These are assets that feed you every month. Rental properties, dividend paying stocks, businesses you own, royalties from books, music, patents, online products with recurring sales. Living assets are the 1%'s favorite. They create predictable, scalable cash flow. Here is why rich love cash flow. Survival without selling. They don't have to liquidate investments to pay bills. Reinvestment power. They can use income from assets to buy more assets, creating compounding loops. Economic resilience. Even if asset prices drop in recession, cash flow keeps coming in. Think about it. Would you rather have £2 million in property that pays you nothing until you sell it, or £1 million in an asset that pay you £100,000 a year forever? The second option gives you freedom now, not just maybe later. The 1% follow a simple sequence. Number 1, build a cash flow base. Cover living expenses with asset income. Number 2, reinvest surplus cash flow. Expand into higher yield or appreciating assets. Number 3, buy luxuries from profit only after assets are secure. They don't buy a £100,000 car until their assets make £100,000 a year. That way the asset buys the car, not their labor. A wealthy acquaintance of mine wanted a £250,000 yacht. Instead of buying it outright, he bought a small marina business that generated £300,000 a year in profit. The profit paid for the yacht, the upkeep, and still left money over. Here is the point. He didn't work harder to save for it. He built an asset to fund it. You don't need millions to start owning cash flow assets. Here is the stepping stone approach. Stage 1, micro cash flow. Buy dividend stocks with as little as £100 a month. Sell digital templates online. Rent out equipments you own. Stage 2, scaled cash flow. Use profits to invest in property, index funds, or small online businesses. Stage 3, cash flow independence. Keep stacking until your monthly passive income is greater than your monthly expenses. That's your first milestone of freedom. Ask yourself right now, if you lost your job tomorrow, how many months could you survive without touching your savings? If the answer is less than 6 months, your next priority isn't another holiday, it's building cash flow assets. The 1% have a rule they rarely say out loud. Only spend from cash flow, never from principal. If your investment generates £10,000 a year, you can spend £10,000 a year without losing wealth. But the moment you start eating into the asset itself, you are eroding your future. By now, you know the mechanics of the 1% strategy: leverage, ownership, and cash flow. But here is something that separates the truly wealthy from those who just get rich for a while. It's their mindset in moments of uncertainty. This is the invisible edge. Because money alone doesn't make you wealthy, your relationship with money does. And the 1% have a relationship with risk, time, and opportunity that flips the normal playbook on its head. The average person thinks, if this works, I'll make money. The 1% think, if this fails, I won't lose everything. It's not that they avoid risk, they avoid unnecessary risk. They structure deals, businesses, and investments so that the downside is limited but the upside is massive. This is called asymmetrical risk. If they invest £10,000, they make sure the worst case scenario is losing £10,000. But the best case is making £100,000 or more. While the middle class was selling stocks in a panic, Warren Buffett was buying blue chip companies at bargain prices. Why? Because he knew the downside was temporary but the upside was inevitable for strong businesses. Most people measure success in weeks or months. The wealthy measure it in decades. They don't ask how fast can this make me money, they ask how big could this be in 10 years. Because here is the truth. The biggest wealth builders, real estate, businesses, stocks, rarely make you rich instantly. But compounding turns small, consistent gains into exponential results over time. Many sold assets to protect cash. The 1% used the downturn to buy more. 2 years later, assets value rebounded, and those who waited made massive returns, while panic sellers locked in losses. The average person runs from uncertainty. The 1% run into it. Calculated, of course. They know that when fear is high, prices drop and barriers to entry lower. Recessions, market crashes, and crises are when wealth changes hands, from the fearful to the prepared. Tech stocks were seen as toxic, but the ones who bought into strong survivors like Amazon during that time multiplied their money over 100 times in the next 2 decades. Whenever they face a decision, the 1% often run through these mental filters. Number 1, if it works, how big it could be, upside potential. Number 2, if it fails, can I survive it? Downside protection. Number 3, am I making this decision for now or for 10 years from now? Time perspective. Here is the truth. Most people can't think like this because they are too close to the edge. When your bills eat most of your paycheck, you can't take long-term bets. That's why the 1% first build financial breathing room. Cash flow assets that cover their lifestyle so they can make decisions without depreciation. So here is my challenge to you. The next time you are faced with a financial decision, ask yourself, am I reacting from fear or am I positioning for the long term? If your instinct is to pull back, pause and ask, what would this look like in 5 years if I acted from courage and strategy, not fear? We started this video with a promise to unlock the real wealth building strategy of the 1%, and now you have seen it. They don't chase income, they escape the earn spend trap. They don't work harder, they multiply their results through leverage. They don't just own asset, they own cash flow. And they don't fear uncertainty, they turn it into opportunity. This isn't theory, this is the playbook that's been running quietly for decades, while the rest of the world fights for the pay rises that never change the game. But here is the thing, knowing this won't change your life, applying it will. Because for the first time, you are not just reacting to the economy, your job, or the news, you are building something that puts you in control. And that's the moment everything shifts. So start today. Pick one form of leverage, choose one small cash flow asset to build or buy, commit to thinking in decades, not days. You don't need to become a millionaire overnight. You just need to start moving like one now. And let time, patience, and smart decisions do the heavy lifting. This is Mr. Financial Mindset. I'm Muzaffar Teja, reminding you, you weren't born to pay bills and die. You were born to build freedom. Now you know how the 1% do it. It's your turn now.